Changes are coming to a local jail's visitor policy. We'll break down what you need to know. And an Olympic champion made her way back home to the Brazos Valley. How the community welcomed her. As COVID cases continue to climb, Grimes County Jail is holding off visitation for inmates. Visitors had just been allowed back in last month for the first time since the start of the pandemic. 2 staff members recently tested positive for COVID.
We opened up in the recent past with small baby steps, visitation with caution. So rather than take a chance, we decided to go ahead and hold it off. We're going to reserve everything until September 1.
COVID has been kept out of the inmate population during the pandemic. The Brazos Valley mourning the loss of former Sheriff Ronnie Miller. Miller died Saturday at the age of 75. He was in law enforcement for decades, working in Brazos and Grimes counties. His visitation is Friday at the Callaway Jones Funeral Center from 6 to 8. His memorial service is Saturday at 1. The Aggieland community welcomed home an Olympic champion last night. Community members cheering as Athingmo came home. The 19-year-old track star broke records, becoming the first woman since 1968 to take home gold for the U.S. in the women's 800 meters. She also brought home another gold medal as part of the 4x400 relay.
A lot of hard work that won us this, not even just this year, but the past couple years. So being persistent and just working hard. I mean, it's great. I don't think it's really kicked in yet.
She's looking ahead as her successful first Olympic Games experience settles in. With so much time left ahead of her, head coach Pat Henry believes Mo will be a name Aggies will continue to hear for years to come. All right, let's get a check on your Tuesday forecast with meteorologist Josh Johns. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, and we're watching the tropics very closely this afternoon, or this morning rather, because we are tracking potential tropical cyclone number 6 spinning there near Puerto Rico. Now that currently is 160 miles west of Guadalupe. Winds are at 35 miles per hour, and that's going to continue working off to the northwest. May strengthen to a tropical storm this afternoon, is expected to, and may make landfall on the corner of Puerto Rico, and then should weaken to a tropical depression before re-strengthening as it approaches the Florida Straits. From there, it may go into the Gulf of Mexico. So right now, not a concern to Texas, but something we will be watching as we continue through the weekend. Meanwhile, we'll continue with the hot temperatures, mid-80s currently, but feeling like the mid-90s, and in some cases already feeling like the triple digits across parts of the Brazos Valley. No showers to speak of. We are watching a heat advisory that is in effect for our northern counties. Has not been extended to include Bryan College Station. Likely won't, but if it does, even if it doesn't, we need to be watching for that dangerous heat this afternoon. Again, heat indices could be approaching 105 to 110. That's the temperature that it feels like to your body. So you need to be drinking plenty of water and try to limit your time outside. And if you do have to be outside this afternoon, be sure to take frequent breaks in the shade. Future Track shows you as we go through the rest of the afternoon, there is the potential for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, mainly east of Highway 6. I think most of us miss out, but if you live over towards the I-45 corridor, you could get in on one. We will be quiet overnight, and then in the afternoon could see another pop-up shower and or thunderstorm that takes us on into the rest of the afternoon. Now after that, we're going to stay with this kind of off and on thunderstorm pattern in the afternoon with sea breeze showers and storms through at least Saturday. Then a cool front will try to get close, and that will raise our rain chances for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Still, I don't think we get a big cool down out of it. We'll just continue with the hot temperatures. 98 today, and normally should be at 97, so we'll call it a pretty much normal day. Typical August heat, but still with the humidity, it still feels downright hot. 20 to 30% chances of rain take you through about Sunday, and we hang around in the mid-90s as well.
U.S. senators are expected to give final approval to a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan. If approved by both chambers, the plan could mean billions of dollars in improvements for each state. The deal includes everything from roads and bridge work to public transportation and broadband. For the country, it's also about competing globally.
We're falling behind where we once were in the world. And our rivals, slowly but surely, are pulling close behind us.
This is only phase one of the president's infrastructure agenda. The Senate is also working on a more than $3 trillion budget resolution. Both must be passed in the House. At least 2 school districts in Texas are defying an order from the governor by requiring students and teachers to wear masks. In May, Governor Greg Abbott ordered a ban on mask mandates in the state. The Dallas Independent School District was the first to go against the order.
If we don't do anything, it could go as many as 2,000 new cases every day by the end of the month. So I felt it was time to step in, even though I may get in trouble.
Abbott has kept the ban on mask mandates in place despite a rise in new COVID-19 infections. He has, however, asked hospitals to stop non-emergency medical procedures to free up more hospital beds. A U.S. peace envoy returned to the Middle East to warn the Taliban not to pursue a military victory on the ground in Afghanistan. Afghanistan has seen a string of Taliban victories over the past few days, seizing rural areas before going after bigger cities. The envoy is delivering a blunt message that a Taliban government that comes to power by force won't be recognized by the international community. The new developments come as American and NATO forces finalize a withdrawal from the country.
While COVID cases grip parts of the country, colleges are forging ahead with plans to bring students back to campus, some requiring COVID-19 vaccines, drawing support and pushback.
We think we should be able to have a choice on whether we want to get vaccinated or not.
But what they don't understand is that by not being vaccinated, they're forcing sickness onto other people.
This week, a federal appeals court sided with Indiana University after students argued the school's mandate that includes religious and medical exemptions violated their constitutional rights. The ruling explains universities may decide what is necessary to keep other students safe in a group setting.
In states where the state does not preclude state institutions like state universities from mandating or taking aggressive action, it may encourage more institutions to require masking or even to require some proof of vaccination.
But current plans vary across the country and across schools.
Florida, Texas, and California are leading the nation in new cases, despite the fact that the policies and practices of those institutions differ.
In Florida, lawmakers decided last spring colleges aren't allowed to require proof of vaccination. The state university system strongly recommends students get vaccinated, a similar policy to other universities.
We can encourage students to wear a mask and strongly advise them to get vaccinated, but we can't require it nor ask them if they have been vaccinated.
A survey from the University of South Florida in June found 2/3 of respondents favored mandatory vaccines for the state's college students. Nova Southeastern University initially announced they would require vaccines for students in April, but changed that decision, pointing to new Florida law. They and the University of Miami are both now requiring staff get vaccines.
Have you ever broken your cell phone and then paid a small fortune to have it repaired? We've all been there when our beloved handheld device is sent to the technological great beyond. Every day, Americans dispose of nearly 400,000 cell phones.
It's an aftermarket screen.
But Danny spends his days working to repair phones that otherwise might be lost.
Not everyone can afford to buy a brand new phone, right? And not everyone can afford to pay for Apple Care or like insurance or something.
It's not an easy job. Phone manufacturers do their best to make it incredibly difficult for third-party repair people like Danny to get parts and even access manuals, meaning the cost you pay for repair goes up.
We also have like different qualities of screen. So some screen we buy it for cheaper.
But all of that is about to change.
We're hurting the environment. It's draining our pocketbooks. And it doesn't need to be that way.
Nathan Proctor is a right to repair advocate, a movement pushing for consumers to be able to do whatever they please when it comes to repairing electronic equipment like cell phones.
The problem is they sold it, we bought it, it's ours now, and they don't get to tell us what to do.
The whole movement is gaining national attention. In early July, President Biden signed an executive order asking the Federal Trade Commission to tackle, quote, unfair anti-competitive restrictions on third-party repair. And now the FTC will enforce that order.
There's a lot of public interest impacts, when the system is so absurd.
But how will enforcement work? The government agency is mainly relying on you, the consumer, to report issues to ftc.gov. Like having a company say you voided a warranty by having one of those third-party repair companies open and fix your phone. The order will allow you to take your phone to any repair shop, not just one authorized by your phone manufacturer. It also means parts and manuals have to be made more available to any repair store, making them cheaper.
We've been working to kind of create a campaign where people understood, hey, you know what? This isn't right. No one should tell me how I should and when I should be able to fix stuff.
230,000 acres of national park land burned in 2020. As wildfire season continues on, the National Park Foundation is supporting a brand new program this year, one that promotes all-women fire crews.
Then we have gear packs.
23-year-old Lori Keaton knew the traditional college path wasn't for her.
I really enjoy being outside and taking care of nature, and we get to use fire as a management tool.
Lori is one of a handful of women in Yosemite National Park that are battling fires on the front lines together in a women's-only crew.
I think it's important to have this because it's a male-dominated field, honestly, and that can make things a little bit uncomfortable. Like, you don't really feel personally like you can really be yourself, because you're constantly worried about, well, are they worried that I can't do my job?
She says it allows her to be comfortable, to show off her skills, no competition from men, no feeling of having to prove herself. And she says perhaps more importantly, she likes the message this group is sending.
I feel like this program in particular can help encourage other women, young women, to join firefighting and have a more comfortable group to do it in.
She admits it's not an easy job. It's hot, it's uncomfortable, nature isn't always friendly, but it's an exhilarating job that not enough women are doing.
So many women are interested in wildland fire, but the reality is that women make up less than 5% of fire management leadership positions at the park level. And at the national and regional levels, women make up less than 2% of the fire management leadership positions.
Kristen Reagan is the philanthropy manager at the REI Co-op, which donated more than $250,000 to help support this program within the national parks.
This investment is a part of a really intentional and focused effort to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion within the National Park Service's wildland fire program while combating the effects of climate change on public lands.
It's the first time a project like this has existed, and it's one the National Park Foundation's senior program manager Lisa McClure hopes is here to stay.
Women are able to come into a park and to feel safe with their counterparts, have some, common identities with other female identifying women on the crew, and really be able to see how they can stretch themselves and push themselves. New skills are learned, and then also developing these really strong bonds with each other and with the park.
As for Lori, who hopes to be a role model for her younger family members, it's a way to send a message to the younger generation.
I think it really helps kids explore what they want to do if they see themselves represented, whether that's by gender or by race.
I'm Stephanie Stone, reporting.
Gymnastics superstar Simone Biles has opened up the conversation about mental health. Biles was able to compete in the balance beam competition at the Olympic Games after she withdrew from several events to focus on her mental health. Her decision has shined a spotlight on athletes and their mental status. As a sports psychologist at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Chelsea Day knows athletes experience mental health struggles at the same rate as everyone else. She says competing at any age in any sport can also add to the stresses and pressures of the spotlight.
When we think about athletes who are really specializing in their sport and spending a lot of time training and competing, that's time taken away from maybe other things that you and I might do to take care of our mental health and well-being.
She says it's important for athletes to be proactive in focusing on their mental health needs so they can thrive. To do that, she says athletes should have someone they trust to talk to. Journaling can also help them reflect and manage feelings. She also suggests mindful breathing.
What it allows us to do is pull into our body and out of our thoughts, but it also helps to slow down that fight or flight response.
Well, it's going to be a hot one out there across the Brazos Valley. Mid to upper 90s on the way, 96 to 98 degrees across the area. Normally should be at 97. We'll call it a normal day, but with the humidity, it'll be feeling like it's near 105 to 110. So again, plenty of water. Try to limit your time outside if possible and take frequent breaks if you got to work in the shade later on this afternoon. Mid-90s take you all the way through the rest of the weekend to the weekend. Maybe some better rain chances this weekend.
Fire season normally following the heat of summer, but now stretching nearly year-round. Fires starting months earlier, changing what we thought we knew.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Well, yes and no. Smokey's right. We start about 90% of all wildfires, either accidentally, like when an electric line falls and ignites a tree, or carelessly, when someone throws out a cigarette butt or leaves a campfire burning. And some do it on purpose. Arson. Lightning and, believe it or not, lava are responsible for the rest. Fires need fuel, extremely dry trees, leaves, and ground debris. Exactly what you find in a forest during a severe and extreme drought. Climate change is making it worse. The temperature's above normal, and not just for a day, but for weeks and weeks. High pressure ridges just sitting there, not moving, trapping hot air. Heat waves drying everything out, evaporating the moisture from the ground and plant life. Then the spark. And the start of what scientists call a feedback loop. Here's the part Smokey leaves out. The fires sending hot air, pollutants, and some water vapor up into the atmosphere, forming pyrocumulus clouds, basically storm clouds. But they don't have a lot of rain. They do have lightning, igniting new fires when it hits the ground, creating more storms, creating more lightning, creating more fires, and around it goes.
Only who can prevent forest fires? You pressed U, referring to me. That is incorrect. The correct answer is you.
Not really you, but government agencies using forest management, thinning out or removing trees, reducing the spread of major fires, or even carefully setting fires to eliminate the dead debris on the ground. There's 741 million acres of forest in the US. Impossible for people to manage every acre. But Mother Nature's been doing it since the first forests formed, using wildfires. The difference? Today's fires, driven by climate change and humans, in more ways than one.
They have science projects, like things that they can grow, and even while they're inpatient, and then crafts that they can do with it.
A project in Kansas City lets high school students tutor children who have serious illnesses. They're now using themed learning boxes for patients during the pandemic. The boxes provide a colorful addition to their hospital stays.
And they provide everything that the patients need, so it's really amazing.
A new ice cream store in Indianapolis is helping teenagers on the hunt for their first job. It's all thanks to a pilot who is using his passion to help young people soar. Ryan is teaching teens how to run a business and learn how to fly, whether it's in aviation or one day becoming a business owner.
They come in and learn more about customer service. The next day can understand about scheduling, how the operation works, also about the bookkeeping level, and as well too is about ordering product. That's a big thing nowadays as well too, is making sure you have the time and stuff to get your product in so you can serve your customers.
Splash is
as a figure. He's the savior. He's the savior in the water.
A swim teacher in Cleveland is using superheroes to help children learn how to swim. With several pools still closed, he's using an indoor pool spa to help him get his message across and teach children how to be confident in the water.
When he's in the water, he's amazing. He's confident. He's very assured.